Hello, and thank you for joining us for this update on the recovery efforts for the Bush Creek East Wildfire. We're joining you today from the traditional unceded territories of the Secwepemc, Silks Okanagan, Synext, and Ktunaxa Nations. I'm Tracy Hughes, Communications Coordinator with the CSRD. Joining me is Derek Sutherland, Acting General Manager of Community and Protective Services. You may recognize us from the past summer when we were wearing vests and had different titles while we were in the Emergency Operations Center. Now we're in recovery and we're back in our usual work clothes, but that doesn't mean we have stopped working on the fire efforts. We've now moved into what is known in emergency management as the recovery phase. I'm going to have Derek tell us a little bit about what this means.
Thanks, Tracy. So recovery are those activities that continue beyond the emergency period. For example, providing temporary shelter to those who lost their homes, helping residents with the rebuilding process, critical stress debriefings for emergency responders, debris clearance, rebuilding critical infrastructure like the Scotch Creek Fire Hall and Community Center. Recovery can take years to get through and relies on a collaborative community effort. If we've learned anything to this point is that that is something that we need to work through together. While we may seem quiet, the CSRD has been working hard behind the scenes. Our number one goal is supporting the residents who lost homes. A lot of the effort working with residents on case-by-case basis to support them depending on their circumstances. Plans for community outreach and after-action review have been put in place. We've applied for funding to the province to get money to pay for an after-action review, and that'll take a look at the activities in the summertime and the response to the Bush Creek East Wildfire, and give us some ideas for what can be improved in the future. Assessing the new risks of public safety from wildfire has been a big priority. Right now we're dealing with some increased risk due to geotechnical hazards after the trees on the slopes have been burnt out. So now we're trying to mitigate the situation where we're having possible debris flow issues in the North Shuswap. So we're getting those assessments right now from our engineers. And we're focusing on plans for helping citizens rebuild. The CSRD Development Services is asking for support from the province for overtime for planning and building staff to ensure that applications and permits are completed in a time-effective manner. So planning for the reconstruction of the Scotch Creek Fire Hall is a big part of our efforts right now, and we're working with our insurance provider to make sure that we're getting something that suits the community's needs.
Thanks, Derek. A big part of the initial recovery was setting up a bricks and mortar resiliency center that had been at the Fairfield Inn. It was then moved to the Prestige Harbourfront Resort. This was to help support the residents and make them aware of all the available services. The demand for this service has declined, so the center at the Prestige Harbourfront Resort is now closed. But caseworkers are still available for residents by appointment only, either for in-person meetings or meetings virtually or by phone. People should call 250-833-3400, or they can email caseworker@recovershuswap.ca. That's caseworker@recovershuswap.ca. Leave their name, their contact information, and a short message, and a caseworker will return their call within 48 hours. Our upgraded recovershuswap.ca website will continue to provide recovery information. One of the really important things is if you are still in need of supports but you haven't yet reached out to us, there are supports available, and it's important to do that now. Please don't wait. Call 250-833-3400 and let us know if you have needs so we can get you the supports that you need and connected with the people and agencies that you need. We'd also like to thank the community as part of this. They have stepped up in so many ways. One of the most recent is the formation of the North Shuswap Disaster Relief Society. These are members of the North Shuswap community who are working with the Shuswap Community Foundation to support those most in need. We know people continue to donate to the Shuswap Community Foundation, to those fire relief efforts, and we would certainly encourage that. This Disaster Relief Society is going to work hand in hand to make sure that people get those funds distributed and get the help that they need. We understand actually some of those donated funds have already been made available now in the community to some of these members. If you'd like more information about the Disaster Relief Society, they have a website. It's nsdisasterrelief.ca, and you can go there and check out that website for some more information. Derek, any final words for us here today?
Yep, I want to thank our residents. We appreciate your patience, and we know it can be frustrating when everything seems to be taking time. Of course, we all want things to be back to normal right now, but that isn't realistic. We need to take these steps, but we need to be sure things are done right. And please rest assured that we have a whole team working behind the scenes to make the new normal as smooth a process as it can be.
Thanks, Derek. During this time, it's also important for people to continue to take care of yourselves. As we're finding many of us and many of our firefighters, we've all been through a time of high stress and anxiety, and we need to take care of ourselves and our mental health. So don't forget about that. Please reach out if you need. We can connect you with some support services that can assist you. But also just, check in with your friends and your neighbors. See how people are doing, because we've all been through something that's been quite a significant, really the biggest disaster this area has ever faced. What we do know is that the best way to move forward now is together. So thank you so much for your time today. We hope to be continuing these updates in future weeks. If you have any comments or questions, suggestions, you can always reach out to the CSRD 250-832-8194.